Hello and welcome to The Mill. I am your host, Dusty Crane, and this week we are talking the January 2024 Stonemaier Games e-newsletter, and it was a big one. Happy New Year. Welcome back if you are watching this right around the time of, the newsletter, so January 2024. Wow, it's... Stonemayer's kicking it off with a bang. So the big news is Codename Fire has been revealed, and it is Wyrmspan. Now, I'm not talking about those little things that you use to catch fish or anything like that. We're talking dragons. So W-Y-R-M, Wyrmspan, the Old English name for dragons. But that wasn't all that was in the newsletter, but it is certainly the biggest. The next thing that was in the newsletter, I'm going to get to Wyrmspan. We're going to get to Wingspan too, because I got a little bit to say about that. But also in there was the new revised Civilization pack for Tapestry is also available. And that includes revised, revamped, reworked civs from the base game of Tapestry, along with the first two expansions. The third one is already balanced to the satisfaction of Stonemaier, and that is actually already available for sale. But the big news was Wyrmspan, and so you may be thinking, what kind of name is Wyrmspan? Now, it is to pay tribute to the title that it is inspired by, based on the mechanics by, and that is, of course, Wingspan. So, Wyrmspan itself is a title that was developed by apiary designer Connie Vogelman, and already back-to-back titles from a first-time designer, now second-time designer, and also it was designed by Connie, but developed by Elizabeth Hargrave, the creator of Wingspan, along with, I'm sure Jamie put some work in there too. But the big news there is it is a 1 to 5 player game. It is 90 minutes about to play, or about that long to play. And let's go ahead and look at the actual mechanisms that it talks. It's a competitive tableau and engine building game. So because it is kind of based around how Wingspan kind of began out, it is kind of that same mechanic. Now, some of the talk, and I said we'd talk about Wingspan, some of the talk that already has been talked about, first of all, huge positive excitement for the game because it looks gorgeous. The art is by first time we've seen this artist, at least at Stonemaier, and that is Clementine, and I believe it's Compardo. And beautiful watercolor design on not only the cave system, which makes up that base game board, but also the dragon cards and the hatchling cards. Now, as I mentioned, a little bit of talk about, is this just a reskin? And the answer to that is a resounding no. It is inspired by the mechanics of Wingspan. However, it is a different game. If you know Wingspan, it is certainly going to help you onboard to this game, but this is not like they just took the Wingspan base game and threw a new skin on it. So let's get this out of the way. This is not an expansion for Wingspan. This is not for use with Wingspan. You can't, take the pieces or put dragons in Wingspan. You can't take, birds and bring it into Wyrmspan. You could use the speckled eggs, I suppose. There are some eggs in there because, like I mentioned, there's hatchlings. So the cool thing about this notice is that the rule book is already available, and I guess I probably should have mentioned availability too. This title was announced on Wednesday the 3rd of January. However, it is not going to be available for pre-order until January 31st. So the end of this month, you will be able to pre-order Wyrmspan. I'm probably going to do that for a little while. Please forgive me. You can pre-order Wyrmspan. And not only that, available to pre-order on January 31st. It will probably ship throughout most of February, and then later in March, it'll have a retail release date. So if you want to support your friendly local game store, you can do so. You'll be getting it right around March sometime. The news that also came out at that same time is that not only will Wyrmspan itself be available. It will also have an optional purchase of some rubber mats. So just like we had neoprene mats and other Stonemaier titles, those will be available right out the gate, and along with I'm not going to say realistic resources, because that's something, that Stonemaier used to do and they don't anymore, but there will be some upgraded wooden tokens available along with a packet of metal coins. Those are actually going to ship together. So that's like one product to get those wooden bits and the metal coins. And the metal coins work a little bit like the action tokens do in Wyrmspan. So, you're going to use those coins to take your turns and spend them to excavate your caves, and really I would highly recommend, before you draw conclusions on what you think Wyrmspan is, that you check out Stonemaier Games website. I'll go ahead and toss a link in the description of the video here, but Jamie actually walks through the list of differences. This is what's different between the major differences between Wyrmspan and Wyrmspan, along with the actual rule book. So you can figure out how it plays right now, well before it's available for pre-order. And I really like that the last couple of titles, Stonemaier has done that, made that available, kind of right along the time of the release. We don't have a solo rule book yet, although there are solo rules in the game. I would imagine that's going to be coming out with one of the design diaries. Jamie has already begun the design diaries. It looks like there's about 10 days worth, and so in one of those days we'll get those solo rules, kind of the story of how solo played out. But man, Connie Vogelman, second title already. I think you got to give Jamie credit for finding talent, for sure. Now, the first design diary, it talks a little bit about the origin, and Connie mentions that she wasn't even completely finished with Apiary when Apiary, goodness gracious, you're just going to have to forgive all of my mistakes. It's a new year. Let's start with some forgiveness, or some grace or something, right? So Aviary. God, no. Oh my gosh. Nope, we're going to keep going. Apiary. Man, I hit it right the first time and I was like, what? Okay, anyway. Wasn't even done designing Apiary. And she was asked, hey, do you want to put a spin on, we got an idea for dragons. You want to do this? Can you imagine how intimidating that is? You haven't even put your first game out yet and you're already being approached to put your own twist, create a game in that kind of Wyrmspan universe to tackle that. The courage she has, it just blows my mind. That's so awesome that not only did Jamie think enough of her to pitch that idea, but that she was like, yep, I'm taking that challenge on and running with it. Some work with Elizabeth. They live in the same general area there, and so it worked out well for them working together. Created this beautiful looking game here. We already have the teaser trailer. Jamie released that on day one, and he's also on his website, on his YouTube channel, released the first few turns, so you can actually see all the different actions that are available. And there's stuff that might look familiar, but one of the new actions you can take is called excavate. And so if we're talking Wyrmspan here, that you have your three kind of rows that you can move between the different environments. You got the woodlands or the forest, and you got the grasslands, and you have the wetlands. In this, you have different cave systems, and you only start with one spot available on each one of those cave systems. And so if you want to entice hatchlings or dragons to those cave systems, you have to excavate it. You got to make room for them. And so that's just one of the new aspects of Wyrmspan and how that actually deviates from Wyrmspan. And so that is, I'm excited for this one. I've been honest with you guys all along and said, when Wyrmspan first came out, I really was not sure how I felt about it. I didn't really consider myself a bird guy. Didn't really think that it sounded that interesting to begin with. Obviously, it has grown on me because it's one of my favorite games now. And I've also learned a great deal about birds. I still wouldn't consider myself a bird guy, but I can identify a heck of a lot more birds than I could before Wyrmspan came out. So I don't think that I'll ever have to worry about learning dragons. But, you know, and you go, hey, silly, that's Dusty. That is not even a real thing. Dragons are fake. But Connie and Clementine, they took this task seriously. They did all this research on different cultures and different dragons in their lore, and it even comes with like an art book or a lore book, really, that kind of explains and provides all the different dragon cards. It works sort of like a glossary. It shows the dragon cards, and there's even some flavor text there. The flavor text that was on the Wyrmspan cards was pulled from these Wyrmspan cards for clarity's sake to make room for other stuff. But overall, you'll find that flavor text in that guide there. Another cool thing, in my opinion, was that it's a little bit heavier, a little bit less luck dependent too, because one of the concerns that people had with Wyrmspan, that some people didn't like being beholden to dice. There's no dice in this game. You're going to play cards. That's how you're going to resolve, your turns, what you're going to do. You're going to spend coins to take the different actions. Again, the rulebook is available to get a much better description than I'm giving you, but it looks beautiful, and I keep looking over, seeing the art, and getting distracted. It's so pretty. So there is already a Facebook group. If you want to come talk to us there, you can discuss it out on Board Game Geek. There's some interesting threads on Board Game Geek. Good luck if you wander in there. There's a ton of people excited about it. Don't get me wrong, but there are a few threads that people have just wild out and written quite a lot. So, I guess if you're into that kind of thing and you like reading quite a lot of we'll say constructive criticism, we'll call it that. Why not? Feel free to join us there, or the best place might be on the Stonemaier Games Discord. But that's the deal with Wyrmspan. If you're curious about the price, that has not been announced in typical fashion. That's one of those things that gets released when the pre-order goes up. However, just to give you an idea of maybe what you're budgeting for, you are looking at probably right around what Wyrmspan is going, and this is according to Jamie, right about what Wyrmspan is going for, along with if you look at some of the coins and stuff that's available on the Stonemaier Games eShop, another idea of maybe what that content of the wooden resources and coins are going for. The rubber mats as well. Those will be separate from that bonus or deluxe token bundle, but that stuff will be on the website, along with a Wyrmspan inspired mini golf or golf disc golf disc and the Rolling Realms promo pack. In addition to that, again, I mentioned that the Tapestry revised and adjusted rebalanced sieves are available, and the nesting box is back in stock. Good stuff there. Jamie also provided the 2024 preview teaser. Now, in years past, Jamie, last couple of years now, Jamie has presented a list of hints or teasers about what is to come in the year. He just recently did a blog post kind of laying out what 2023 riddles were, what product they corresponded to. So the three that he provided for 2024 were a mysterious future revealed first in Ore. O-R-E. A mysterious future revealed first in Ore. Second is a switcheroo, both in schedule and theme. And the third one, a reveal so sweet you can almost taste it. I mean, it says a reveal, so I don't know if that means it's just by the time the year rolls out, we're going to get a sweet teaser of 2025, or if there is a game and there's some hidden aspect of it, or it's candy themed. or Jamie loves his chocolate. It could be chocolate themed. In any case, a reveal so sweet you can almost taste it. So let me know in the comments what you think that could possibly be. And let's go ahead and get into the list of projects and products that Stonemaier has coming out, kind of that red, green, yellow bullet list of things. As expected, and thanks again to Karelta Teka for putting this together on the Stonemaier Games Discord. Apiary and the Wyrmspan fan art cards have fallen off of that list as expected, but Apiary is back in a fashion. Yes, I said it fell off, and it's back in a fashion. Expansion 1 is already being worked on. It is, it's been announced. The design is actually already complete, but the work on the art has not begun yet, but it is being developed and play tested. So we're in that very early stage where like the design is all set, but they're tweaking it for fun and clarity, and then art will begin soon, I'm sure. The Tapestry Revised Civ art available on the web store now. We already talked about Codename Fire. Codename Wild is the game that I've long believed was Jamie's open world game that's inspired by Breath of the Wild. I mean, it makes sense. Jamie mentioned that in 2024, it was his goal. So Jamie mentioned in his blog in what he was, hoping to achieve in this year. And he always challenges us to make something, it doesn't have to be for commercial, just make something that means something to you. And, so Codename Wild, he said he wanted to work on his open world game this year. He wants to finish it. And lo and behold, Codename Wild, the design is complete. Art is still ongoing. That's been going on for a long time. And development and blind play testing and the solo design have started. So that design is locked in. That's awesome to hear. The first expansion for Expeditions, the pre-production is complete and they are working on components. Rolling Realms Redux is also one step closer to being complete. Graphic design is complete and the game is now in pre-production. And finally, development and blind play testing have wrapped up on Codename Cape. The art is in progress and the solo development is in work now too. All other code names that were on that list are standing where they were last month. And just one more thing I wanted to mention here, probably one more thing after that, we'll see when I get to the end of the sentence. One thing I wanted to mention was Wyrmspan. The art that was done for this was done by our very own Carol Johnson, who is, our host here on the Mill, and she did a fantastic job, I think. Also did a nice little, some nail art for y'all with the flaming nails on her hands that she's showing off the bits and kind of, showing you what's in the game box. And yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for this beautiful dragon Wyrmspan game that plays just like another game, or very similar to another game that I've really come to enjoy. But yes, please let me point out, it's a different game. It is not just a reskin. I don't think that would be worth anybody's time. And it also discounts the work that Connie put in. So Jamie, again, has that blog of 16 unique elements. You know what? While we're just kind of talking here, I'm going to go ahead and just grab a couple of them. Well, I already mentioned hatchling. There's guilds. There's a guild board that you can, compete and move around. The dragons have personality tags that affect their behaviors and how you'll interact with them. Actions are performed by spending coins and often eggs. And, in Wyrmspan, unless you had your no goal end of round tile, or end of round goal tile, you pretty much had the 7-6-5-4 turns that you could take. However, in this game, you're using coins, you're using eggs, and you can actually get more of these things. So you might have a turn where you're doing more than everyone else, but given the power of your dragons, maybe help you out and help you along there. I mentioned no dice. you get to start your game with 4 cards, and then choices of resources. There's no bonus cards, no pink powers, but again, this whole list is available on the website, and I'll make it available in the show notes. But I knew there'd be one more thing if I just rambled long enough. One of the cool things that was announced on Board Game Geek is it relates to the Tapestry Digital Edition. Now, you may remember that Tapestry was originally being developed by a developer called George and the Goat, and they stepped away from it, handed it off to another developer. That developer has provided updates, going, all along here since. But one of the new things they announced just this year is not only is development going well, there's actually going to be new art in there by Andrew Bosley himself. So the original artist of Tapestry is going to be contributing new art for Tapestry Digital Edition. And, I think that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to see what's get added. Are we just talking menus? Are we talking maybe, digital only cards, a way to, kind of twist what's on Tapestry? I do think I'm going to reach out to them and just find out when they do this digital edition, are they using these revised civs, or are they using the originals that were in the game, or how is that going to be addressed? How's that going to be implemented? I would be very interested in hearing about that. If we haven't talked about it, I think I mentioned it, but maybe I haven't. Wyrmspan Digital Edition has recently released Wyrmspan Oceania, the expansion. You can get that. There has been a little bit of chatter about some of the decisions they made in matchmaking, such as if you are playing online in matchmaking, I think it sounds to me, I haven't checked it out myself, but it sounds to me like they've removed ravens from matchmaking entirely. So it's not just an option you can click in the lobby or whatever. It's just gone for matchmaking. However, the cards are still, if you're playing solo, you're playing the single player, just right there on your device, still available to you. And that, finally, I got to the end of that. That is all the news we have this week. Big month of January for Stonemaier Games. So my question, Wyrmspan. Are you more the dragon people, more the bird people? Are you excited for Wyrmspan? Are you hesitant? Let me know in the comments. But please be nice. All right, there's enough negativity everywhere to not have to deal with it here too. That's my selfish wish, I guess. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. Let me know about those civs. Are you excited? There's actually a couple of, 2, I think, revised of the city mats that you're doing the spatial puzzle on. A couple of new ones there that are just slightly, not new, but slightly revised. So let me know if you plan on picking those up, or if you already have, or if that appeals to you at all, and maybe what you think of the Rolling Realms promo pack for Wyrmspan. And heck, let me know how you've been. It's a new year, new year, new you, right? So let me know if you made any plans, any resolutions for this year, what you plan on doing. I mean, the New Year's resolution is always play more games, right? So Stonemeier's got you hooked up here right out the gate. In any case, that is everything I have for you this week. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks so much for watching.